Donald Trump sees himself as the person who gets to decide everything. And he doesn't care about any separation.
Talk about tired, low energy. Donald Trump over the weekend, this was yesterday evening, he went on Truth Social and started rambling about Christie's appearance on This Week on ABC. And he's giving everyone the same nickname and making fun of Jonathan Karl's hair. I mean, it's just the weaker Donald Trump gets mentally, physically, health-wise, the more decline that we see, the lazier he is, or the sheer lack of ability to be Donald Trump that we've come to know is just gone. Look, I don't care about the name calling. It's just, who cares? It doesn't, for me, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's outside of the norms of being president. But to witness where Donald Trump was versus where he is now, he's a slumped, weak, makeup on his hands, just gushy, swollen, squishy cankles on his feet. It's just, we're in trouble with this. But he posted this on Truth Social. I just watched sloppy Christie be interviewed on a ratings-challenged news show this week with George Stephanopoulos. So it's sloppy Christie, sloppy George Stephanopoulos on ABC Fake News. By the way, what the hell in quotes? It's just a nightmare here, everybody. What the hell happened to Jonathan Karl's hair? He looks absolutely terrible. It's amazing what bad ratings on a failed television show that was forced to pay me $16 million can do to one's appearance. So it's sloppy Christie, sloppy George Stephanopoulos, and Jonathan Karl, who, by the way, looked exactly like Jonathan Karl. His hair is ridiculous and he looks terrible. This guy is bitching about people's hair. Can anyone believe anything that sloppy Chris says? Do you remember the way he lied about the dangerous and deadly closure of the George Washington Bridge in order to stay out of prison, at the same time sacrificing people who worked for him, including a young mother who spent years trying to fight off the vicious charges against her? Chris refuses to take responsibility for these criminal acts. For the sake of justice, Donald Trump is talking about justice. Perhaps we should start looking at the very serious situation again. Now he's threatening criminal prosecution. No one is above the law. Donald Trump saying no one is above the law. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. You might ask yourself, what is it that spurred this devolution of Donald Trump, this taking steps back, this cognitive failure and implosion? It was this. Christie, of all the moments, all the things that he said, this has to be the moment that set Donald Trump off and sent him spiraling, regressing. Watch this.
Let me play something for both of you that J.D. Vance had to say about this on Friday.
Well, so we're in the very early stages of an ongoing investigation into John Bolton. I will say we're going to let that investigation proceed. We are investigating Ambassador Bolton, but if they ultimately bring a case, it will be because they determine that he has broken the law. We're going to be careful about that. We're going to be deliberate about that because we don't think that we should throw people, even if they disagree with us politically, maybe especially if they disagree with us politically. You shouldn't throw people willy-nilly in prison.
So Chris, I counted 3 times where he used the word we. We are in the very early stages. We are investigating. We are going to be deliberate. We?
Yeah, sure.
What does the vice president have a role in a criminal investigation?
Constitutionally, not to the best of my knowledge. But look, let's face it. The president said earlier in that video you showed, you didn't show this piece, where he said he's the chief federal law enforcement officer in the United States. Donald Trump sees himself as the person who gets to decide everything. And he doesn't care about any separation. In fact, he absolutely rejects the idea that there should be separation between criminal investigations and the politically elected leader of the United States. This is much different than it's ever been run before. But look, let me say candidly to the American people who are watching, you were told this. You were told that this was what he was going to do. And not by me, by Donald Trump during the 2024 campaign. He told you he was going to do this, that he was going to have a Justice Department that acted as his personal legal representation. And that is what they're doing.
Well, Chris Christie's right. Finally, Chris Christie is right. Once you get jettisoned from the inner circle, from the orbit of Donald Trump, then all of a sudden they find their moral compass. Strange how that works. Finally, Chris Christie is saying the thing that we knew all along, that he should have known the whole time while he was assisting in the transition of the first administration. He should have known. When he volunteered to head Donald Trump's transition the first time, we all knew what Donald Trump was. He should have known too. Welcome to the resistance, Chris Christie. Thank you. We appreciate you very much. And your allyship with Donald Trump isn't going to save you. He's now threatening to open another criminal investigation into something that is already settled. Dictator talk. Donald Trump doesn't. Everything Chris Christie said was true. It just took a long time coming, I guess. Anyway, we are witnessing the implosion of Donald Trump, the rapid, serious cognitive decline of Donald Trump, the low energy, the napping during meetings where he's the one who's supposed to be speaking. It's a tight spot that we're finding ourselves in. All while Donald Trump's masked secret police are out there arresting American citizens for filming them. Brown people off the streets, disappearing them to who knows where, being arrested by who knows who, from who knows what organization. So again, welcome, Chris. We appreciate it very much. You finally found a little moral ability there. What do you think? I welcome you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work in independent media. There are multiple ways you can do it. You can click the join button below this video on YouTube to become a channel member. You can clickety-clack your browser over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. You can go to dollemore.com and buy a t-shirt or a mug or a tote, some kind of merch. All that goes a long way. We're also selling a children's book about gratitude, and you can learn about that right here. Many of you are aware that my dear friend and brother of choice, not of blood, Brett McAfee, suffered a near-fatal medical emergency last summer while our families were on vacation in Scotland. I appreciate to no end the outpouring of support for Brett that you all gave. And I'm also very happy to report that he is safe and healing and working that long path of recovery. What I've probably not told you about Brett is that beyond being an excellent friend, he's also a talented writer. We have been the best of friends since we were kids, and I have been continually inspired by his creativity and by the truly singular take that he has on life. Over 2 decades ago, he wrote a poem called The Grateful Child. It's an acknowledgement of all the simple strengths that we tend to overlook. Written from the perspective of a young person, multiple grateful children express gratitude to their parents for the elements that make them who they are. The accounting of these everyday gifts inspires a clear reminder that we should not take anything for granted. I've shared Brett's remarkable poem with numerous people over the years, and a reoccurring response is that this should be a book. Well, we finally decided to listen to those people. The Grateful Child is not only a children's book for adults in your life, it's also an adult's book for children in your life. Everyone will appreciate its straightforward yet elegant celebration of life's little endowments. Click the link below to pre-order now, or simply scan this QR code and order your copy or copies today. But this being an illustrated book, we could not survive on the words alone. To pair with Brett's touching words, we searched all over for an illustrator who could bring the Grateful Child to visual life. We landed on somebody right here in the community from this show. Leah Farshid is an internationally acclaimed illustrator who, like you, is also an audience member. The moment we saw the first images that Leah drew to accompany Brett's text, we knew we had a perfect combination. It brings me tremendous joy to share my best friend's beautiful poem and Leah's spectacular images with the world. Everyone can benefit from The Grateful Child, just as I benefit from Brett's lifelong friendship. Share this beautiful book with your children. Share it with your parents or other relatives. The Grateful Child is an easy and exceptional way to show appreciation for someone in your life, young or old. Support someone you love and support this channel by giving The Grateful Child. Click the link below to pre-order now or simply scan this QR code. I am pretty sure your children need a copy. And your mom, your nieces and your nephews, your Grandpa Charlie too. Don't forget Grandpa Charlie. I think he'd love this. Make The Grateful Child a part of your life. It has been such an excellent part of mine.